Welcome back, or welcome to this edition of Why I Love series, where I'm going to document and talk about movies that I love or has made a big difference in my life within the last 10, 20, 30 plus years. And today we're looking at the 2022 movie written and directed by Zach Cregger called Barbarian. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for taking your own time out to check out this video. And if you don't know me or the channel and this is maybe your first video, or maybe you're coming back and you just don't know this whatsoever, since my experience of Barbarian in 2022, I've seen the movie roughly around 3 to 4 times, with this instantly becoming my favourite horror movie in easily the last 5 to 10 years. And yeah, I know a lot might surprise a lot of people, and might be quite a bit of people already watching up to this second and thinking, yeah, I don't agree with this guy whatsoever, but I'm here to share my own personal opinion as to why I love it, and maybe, heck, I can change you in terms of changing your mindset and maybe giving this movie another watch. Even if you really like this movie, maybe give it another watch, and heck, maybe you might appreciate it that little bit more. So let's go into a little bit about specifics about the movie, the director, the cast, all that kind of stuff, and the plot. Then we'll go a bit more into my detailed thoughts. So this came out in 2022. I got to experience this when I took a trip over to America in Florida, and I got to experience this with my great and best friend, Anthony A. Perez. And this is a one where I saw the trailer, and I'll be honest with you guys, I had no intention to check this out at all. I didn't appeal to me whatsoever, but at the time we had a choice of Minions or Barbarian, and I hate those yellow munchkins, so straight away I was like, right, I'm going to go for Barbarian. So this is written and directed by Zach Cregger in his directorial feature debut and also screenwriting debut. And we've got the cast of Georgina Campbell, who plays a character called Tess, Bill Skarsgård, who plays a character of Keith, Justin Long, who plays AJ, and Matthew Patrick Davis as the mother. Essentially, this follows Tess's character as she books an Airbnb. She's got a really important job interview kind of the next following morning, and when she arrives to this Airbnb, she finds out it's actually been double booked by a guy called Keith, who's played by Bill Skarsgård. So they've got to make amends, they've got to kind of adjust to this weird situation where they're booked into the same Airbnb. However, underneath in the basement there is something dwelling that is going to change their lives forever. I'll keep it quite vague for spoiler-free portions. If I'm going to touch into some big spoilers, I'll pop a warning on screen. So, with that in mind, we had a budget of 4 to 5 million roughly, and this movie went on to make $45.4 million, which is a huge financial success, especially for an original IP that people aren't familiar with. This is kind of like an original creation as such. So now that we've touched over just the general specifics of this, let's deep dive into a little bit more as to why I really love this movie. So firstly, I went into this with no expectations. As I just mentioned, I didn't even want to go see Barbarian in the first place, but I did, and I had a great audience reaction with me at the time. But I think the fact of the matter is, I came out with this movie and thought, wow, what a bonkers, fun, thrilling horror movie that I honestly couldn't wait to rewatch again. And I've got to give a lot of commendment and kudos to writer and director Zach Cregger for just keeping myself on my toes. When you watch Barbarian, this is a horror movie of 3 completely different acts that entwine into one story, which I think it's unique to start with. We don't really get many horror movies that do that, or if they do that, they don't execute it as well as Barbarian. It gives you a story that you really care about, characters that you care about, that you also want to see live. You don't want to see them die. You don't want them to meet their peril. You actually kind of root for these characters. Do they make some dumb decisions? Well, yeah, absolutely. It's a horror movie. They're bound to make some dumb decisions. But even with that in mind, it's still decisions that I still made me care for this movie. I think the 3-act structure in terms of how each act starts really just compelled me and kind of gripped me narratively to keep me on my toes and wonder, okay, so we're starting off with a really horrific end to the first act, and then the second act opens up to some music blasting as Justin Long's character of AJ is driving along like a beach location setting, and I'm like, eh? I'm like, what the hell? We've not even mentioned Justin Long's character in the first place. Like, what part of the movie is he going to play? This is just kind of random, him showing up. But it does make sense in the end. But even that is still throwing the audience off guard and, again, piquing an interest as to what is coming next. And then the third act, when the second act ends, again, it throws you in a loop again when it starts off with a completely different setting to, again, just entice you in to what is going to come next. The acting all around is absolutely solid. I think everyone does a great job. Hats off to Georgina Campbell as Tess. I think she kind of steals the show, going to be quite transparent. And what a really great actress who delivered a really phenomenal role. But again, it's just something about this movie. I think for me, it's the charm. It has a certain appeal to it where, for me, it's one of those very few movies that when I sit down to watch a movie at night time, or if I don't watch a movie, it's on my mind. I'm thinking about Barbarian. It's one of those when I sit down at night to watch the movie where I feel to myself and think to myself, you know, I could watch Barbarian again. And it's to the point where even if I watched it the night before and if I put it on the next night, I wouldn't be bored by the experience. I wouldn't be against watching it again and again. It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully done. The music is so well done and so fitting to each and individual scene. And it's one of those that just has a really unique charm to it that is very rare to capture in a movie nowadays. But especially one of those where it just grips you from the start of the first second that this movie kicks in. At least for me, this is just a one where I could watch this time and time again. It's a movie that I have been crying out to please get released on physical media. Heck, at this point, I would take a DVD. DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, 4K special edition, whatever the case would be, the maximum quality that would get here in the UK, I would be buying a copy of Barbarian. Unfortunately, at the moment in time, it's not available on physical media at the time of this video. It's not up for pre-order anywhere either. Unfortunately, it's trying to catch this on a streaming service that has it available on a streaming service, so it can be a little bit tough to seek this one out. I mean, unless you want to kind of sail the seven seas, but I'll try not do that if I can help it. To be honest, I want to support this on a digital platform. I want to support this on a physical media platform, and it's one of those movies for me I want to add to my physical media collection. I want to be able to have it on the shelf back there and be able to pick it up at any time I want, be able to put it into the disc drive whenever I want, and to sit down on a night time, maybe with some popcorn, maybe some snacks, and sit out and watch Barbarian once again. Instantly become one of my favorite horror movies, and when I watch horror movies in this time of recording this video in the year 2025, there is some great ones that come along. There's some indie production ones, and there's some kind of mainstream big blockbuster movies that also are really good and makes me want to watch those movies again. But I still find myself having this grasp on this movie where this comes to the forefront of my mind, and again is the one I want to seek out and a one I want to watch time and time again. It's just something about it, just the appeal of Barbarian is a one where I guess some people can say this is kind of an underground gem. It's a hidden gem. It's a one I guess not a lot of people talk about, especially as there's just endless amount of horror movies. But if I can bring this to a forefront of a discussion, then I've done my job. So Barbarian for me is just a modern day classic in my personal opinion. But what do you think of Barbarian? Have you even seen this movie, or have you seen it and thought, yeah, I like it, or actually it wasn't really for me? And will this video change your stance, and will you check it out again? Well, hey, let me know down below in the comment section. Also, if you haven't joined my Patreon, you can do so by clicking the link down below in the description box. It's only £2 per month, and you get to see videos like this early before they hit YouTube. A big thanks to all these awesome legends you also see on screen. Now, in the meantime, if you haven't seen these videos of mine, which is part of the Why I Love series, or if I haven't got enough videos, there might be another recommendation right here. Well, click over here, have a bit of a deep dive. Till next time, see you guys. I'll be seeing you later.